What's up, guys? I'm Sid Vicious, and today I have a little build showcase for you guys for Ice Spear slash Freezing Pulse Totems. Now, this could be a little bit different from my usual videos. Since I'm a small YouTuber, I like to package all my information together and put it in a nice presentable way. But in this video, I haven't had time to edit and stuff, so I kind of wanted to make a raw, uncut video of me just talking about my build um, and sort of some of my thoughts around it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about pros and cons, just some setups for the build. We could look at the POB and just kind of go through a quick little progression as well. So let's get into it. Um, First up, pros and cons. Now, the pros of this build is that it's extremely high DPS and it can scale really well. And budget wise, it's pretty low budget as well. Now, the cons for this build is that it is pretty weak on the defense, right? And because of that, I wouldn't recommend this to beginners. Certain beginners might look at the bossing potential, the damage, and the low budget and might want to try it out. But again, I would say because of the low defense, it requires some game knowledge. And especially if you're going to boss, it requires some bossing knowledge. Although, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing in boss fights and I end up dying a lot, but I'm able to clear the boss because of so much DPS we have, especially bosses that don't have a lot of phases and stuff like that. You are absolutely gonna insta delete them. And the way I like to play this build and the reason why I play this build is primarily for invitation farming, and then it's really fun league starter, and then I like to transition to other builds. Now I'm gonna use a couple different things. I'm gonna use POB, poe.ninja, just to kind of showcase, just kind of showcase the build itself. So I'll start off with poe.ninja now. I'm just gonna show you this tool. So I just want to give a shout out here because poe.ninja is really, really nice to see what people are doing with their builds, the different variations of the builds, etc. And here we're choosing the Polytheist Ascendancy. Now, there's not a lot of people playing it, 0.4%. And at the top of the DPS, it's us. That's right. This doesn't mean that much because, based on how the mechanics of other skills work, the DPS could be higher. For example, you throw out a bunch of mines, I don't know if this is 3.5 mil or probably 15 or 20 mil based on how many mines you throw. And that actually goes same for our build. Even though it says 4.2 mil, our build's actually doing 16 mil because we have 4 totems. Yeah, so let's talk about some core aspects of the build, some core items you need. And we could start that by looking at some day one. So day one, the core item that you need is Soul Mantle. This gives us Spell Totem. This allows us to put any skill into this chest piece and it will sort of fire out of the totem itself. So in this case, you'll see us using Freezing Pulse sometimes and Ice Spear when we want to change it up. So Freezing Pulse is really nice for map clearing, and then Ice Spear is mainly for bossing or anytime you have to deal with a really, really tough enemies. Even essences, you could switch to Ice Spear. Once you reach a certain damage threshold on your Freezing Pulse, you can pretty much take out any boss with just Freezing Pulse. And then you only want to use Ice Spear if you're doing invitations or like uber bosses and stuff like that. So the core element is Soul Mantle. There's a downside to this, which is it inflicts you with a random hex whenever your totems die. So that means you're going to have a lot of curses on you. So you have to find a way to reduce curses. And an early game option is Kikuzaru. All of this is pretty much like one chaos each, once you start like linking this, this maybe like 2 chaos or whatever. Or you could just link it yourself with some jewelers and some chromatics for the color. Anyways, Kikuzaru reduces curse by 30%. And then on our skill tree, passive tree, we have Asylum and Steeped in the Profane, which gives us more reductions to our curse effect. So this basically makes it so that we are curse immune. That means any map modifiers that say players are cursed with anything, we are immune to that. So this is really nice for mapping and for our build itself. Pretty much just a quick little note on our mapping itself. We really don't care about any mod. LE Reflect is the only one that's kind of annoying because our totems will die repeatedly, but it's doable. I just wouldn't recommend running that, or the same old cannot regen. Again, it's not bad, it's just annoying. So pretty much you could do any mod on this character. Let's talk about our skill setup. So we have GMP. The best way to scale this build is going to be projectiles. So GMP allows us to fire 4 additional projectiles. And then Awakened GMP is going to give us 5 projectiles. That's one of the reasons why Awakened GMP is very, very expensive. We could do increased crit damage here, and then multiple totem supports. So now multiple totem support is the second way to scale damage, which is to summon extra totems, increase the limit of our maximum summon totems. So we get +2 here, and then Ancestral Bond, which is a keystone that's located right over here. Let me show you on the POB. Right over here, Ancestral Bond. So this is day 1 setup, 233k DPS, which is really good to just kind of push through white and yellow maps. You could pretty much take this to red maps too as your gems level up. As you can see, these aren't even like fully leveled. Let's switch back. And then our next thing that scales our DPS primarily bossing is our curse setup. Now, in order to curse multiple or increase our curse limit, we use this ring called Anathemas. This is a pretty expensive ring, especially early on. I had to pay, I don't know, like 40 or 50 chaos day 1, but it should be cheaper now. The price fluctuates, but Anathemas basically makes it so our curse limit is equal to our maximum power charge, which is 3. So these are 3 curses. And the 2 that we really want is Elemental Weakness and Frostbite, because this is resistance penetration. Sniper's Mark is again really good for increased damage. And then Zealotry is going to be our aura that's going to increase our crit chance, more damage, etc. We have a couple of interesting things that we're doing here that is what I would say like preferences, right? So if you want even more damage, you can do Arrogance and Herald of Ice. This basically allows us to do low life stuff for very cheap. Again, increases our damage, and then we could turn this aura on and off whenever we need them, right? So Vitality is going to be really good regen if we need it. Herald of Ice is going to give us extra damage if we need it. Just something that, you can keep on the side. Leap Slam and Frostblink. So Leap Slam with Momentum, Frostblink with Arcane Surge. Arcane Surge is going to give us extra damage, basically. And Frostblink and Leap Slam are going to be our movement abilities. Now, the reason why I like running um, Leap Slam with Frostblink is so you can like cancel, like animation cancel. It's very nice for if you're running it down and you feel like you're about to go somewhere you really don't want to go, or you could take like turns and stuff like that. Um, I primarily do it for the fun aspect. It's just fun, right? But you can instead choose to do something like something like this, where you have Cold Snap plus Bone Chill plus Awakened Unbound Ailment or Unbound Ailment. And this increases our chill effect and basically more cold damage. Um, it just increases our damage by a lot. And once we get like Heat Shiver, it's gonna scale even more, right? Because Heat Shiver has increased damage based on percent chill effect. And as you can see here, if we disable it, it almost, how much is this? Does it tell us? Yeah, it's 17% increased damage. Kind of crazy. Okay, what else to talk about? Yeah, let's just look at some of my progression. Self-flagellation, extra damage per curses on us. This flask, Lavianga, I don't know how to say it. This Spirit Flask is really nice because skill costs no mana during the effect. Makes it so that we don't have to worry about our totems. One thing, yeah, the other thing, which I change over here is I use Cast on Dead Portal, right? Like I said, this is not for beginners. This is a certain playstyle. You can try it, because you might die a bunch of times because you're leap slamming and just running it down a lot. And this really helps with the setup. Pretty much, you're not really going to fail a map unless you get yourself in a really bad spot. So for certain maps, certain map layouts, they're going to be annoying because of enemies surrounding you, and that's like the worst thing you want. You always want to have a good position on the mobs. As long as you keep yourself at a distance, you're going to be fine. But in case you want to just run through mobs and risk it, then, Cast on Dead Portal is really nice. Arcane Cloak automation. Now this can get you in trouble sometimes because it takes your mana away at a random time. It automatically puts Arcane Cloak, which just gives you a little bit extra defense. And during bossing, you definitely want to turn this off and use Arcane Cloak when you need it. And this is like if your life drops or whatever. If you get one-shotted, like obviously, if you know something's coming, that's when you want to use it. If you don't want to use this, you can just go with cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, something like that. Let's look at our upgrades. So our main upgrade, I'm actually going to skip to day 3. Day 4. Is going to be Annihilating Light. Now this triples our damage. There's no explanation needed there. Obviously, it comes with a downside of 62% reduced elemental resistance. That is very, very big. You need to get a lot of resistance on your gear. I would say most of the time, for early on, just get triple res with no life. But if you can get life and you have some money to spend on life, spend on life. Resistance is going to be the main part. You're going to get rid of Kikazaru to get a very high resistance ring. And what you're going to do to deal with the curse effect is you're going to go with these jewels. Excuse me. You're going to go with these jewels that give you reduced curse effect. Now here, you can see these only add up to 83%. But what I do have is tattoos. So these are the Hinakora Death Warden tattoos, which is reduced curse effect, which is really, really nice. This gives us 6% each, 18, 101% reduced effect, and therefore we are curse immune. Then we got a couple of nice fancy items. Rain of Splinters, again, scaling through projectiles, additional projectiles is really good. Even though it comes to the downside, we're going to be doing a lot more damage. Bottle Fate, no explanation needed here. It's a sulfur flask, which gives us 40% increased damage, and then concentrated ground, which gives us more damage, and then also gives us crit chance, which we really don't need. It's primarily for the increased damage. And then we also use the flask currency. Like, I don't remember if it's instilling or enkindling. I think it's instilling, but we want to get increased effect. We have 66% here. Couple of cluster jewels we can talk about. The large cluster jewel that we want is actually a 12 passive one with cold damage. And what we want to get is increased effect to 35% with cast speed and all elemental resistance. In this case, we got 25% and we didn't get the cast speed one. It's a pretty nice placeholder for now. You know, we crafted this ourselves. We could talk about this at a later point. Two other medium clusters is Sleepless Sentries, and this gives our totems onslaught, and then Ancestral Echo is just another point to give us a little more damage. Eye to Eye and Repeater is going to be more damage. Nothing unique there. So the other thing I want to talk about here is now we have 4 curses. Now that we have a staff, we have more socket links that we can put. And here we are putting punishment. But now this is 4 curses, and our limit is only up to our curse limit is equal to our maximum power charge. So the way we deal with this on the Polytheist is we need to get instability, a way to increase our maximum power charge. You could do this in multiple ways, but right now we just use instability. What else do we have? We have Zeltry with Eternal Blessing. This makes it so that we only have 1 blessing, but we get like more effect, which is just more spell damage primarily and a little bit of crit chance. I think that's it for pretty much what we have currently. Now, to bring up our POB and things that we can do with this, first thing we can do is get a Watcher's Eye, right? The Watcher's Eye we want is increased cast speed with Zealotry, and critical strikes penetrate 10% of enemy resistance with Zealotry. This is just increased effect. Really, really nice. We can also get Sublime Vision, which is increased effect of Zealotry again, but it also comes with we are unaffected by curses. So this is how we become curse immune, and then we could get rid of our jewels, and then we could go for jewels that are pure damage. Do we have one? So I was just like looking around, but this is basically a type of jewel you would want, which is crit multi across the board, and then like cast speed, something like that. So like crit multi spell damage, cold skills, elemental skills with staff, something like that will actually fit in, and then we want like increased cast speed with like cold skills or like with a staff or something like that. And that will give us jewels that are like absolutely cracked. Like this one is 6% of our DPS. And if we fill it out, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 spots we can potentially put. Yeah. And we might be able to also just get rid of self-flagellation and put out another. I would have to do the math on it, so I'm not sure. There is another jewel we can put here, which is the timeless jewel to get. Let's use here for like a timeless jewel that gives us inner conviction, I believe. You could put it either here or you could put it either here, and you socket it in this location. It's just more damage. It's nice. I guess I didn't put that in here. Um but we're already at 80 million damage, you know. Our cold resistance we need to fix a little bit. Yeah. We would have to find like a better way to deal with it. Yeah, there's still other things you could do. You could like unspec this. Some people like to unspec this as well. And then that way you could go like another like eye to eye repeater combo here and just get even more damage. I'm using this because this is pretty interesting. I don't know. I like it. Um but I'm sure there's more efficient ways to do certain things and like change certain things. You could get even more tankier by going like more maximum mana, right? More maximum mana, and then like more life nodes, picking up more life nodes. Um, yeah. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah. I think that's it. This video is what, like 20 minutes already? 23 minutes. Um let me know, if there's any questions. If there's anything you guys want to know more about this build. I haven't even got my fourth ascendancy. You can go with Solaris or Yugal. I I don't know which one. I don't know exactly what Yugal does. Um Solaris seems pretty good with the blind. Um yeah, I would have to see how Hex Reflection works when I am gonna try to be, immune to curses. But yeah, if you have any questions, this here is 80 mil DPS. Oh yeah, I haven't put glove implicits, but that's a reason why I put unnerved. But on your gloves, you can get uh the Eldritch implicits to get some more exposure. Actually, that would increase our damage more too, and unnerved, which gives us some spell damage. Is there anything else? I have it like on concentrated ground, but you could like turn it on. I'm not like doing too much POB warrior type stuff, right? Like I don't really have anything really turned on here. I pretty much just go to poe.ninja. I look at my build. I hit this copy. I look at what poe.ninja's picking up, and then I kind of edit certain things out and edit certain things in. Um, like is enemy on low life, Yeah, like I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? I think we could stop there. That's plenty. So that's the build. That's the video. I might maybe just put like clips as I'm talking on like the side or something, just to kind of like actually showcase the build instead of me just kind of talking the whole time. But overall, I probably have a lot of fillers. I probably said a bunch of things, kind of probably ranted a little too much. I don't know if I over explained or under explained, but this is my first time doing an unedited video. So let me know what you guys think. Put down any questions about the build, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.